Hey everybody, and welcome back to D-Race Shop. A little bit over a year ago, I did a video series on a Honda ATC 200S where we pretty much just brought this thing back from the dead. Been setting up for a number of years and went through the carburation system, adjusting the valves, timing chain, and some of the other components on it. I got a lot of positive feedback on that video series, and a question I keep getting asked is would I do a video on how to repair the recoil starter on it? Well, look at what we got here. Yeah. Now a lot of y'all might be thinking, well, you know, it's just a recoil starter, there's nothing to it, it's just a rope with springs and dogs, and that's pretty much the truth. But on this model of ATV and several other Honda models like the 185Ss and some of the other machines that didn't have electric start, that had rope start only, these also incorporate an automatic decompression system. And if you don't get all those components back into that recoil starter just right, your decompressor doesn't work, and it can cause you to break the rope, it can snatch the handle out of your hand, and it can actually even injure you. So let's dive right into this thing and show you how to get her done. Now here's our recoil start over here on the left hand side of the engine, and you'll notice you got your decompressor cable right here. This comes out of the back side of the recoil starter, back behind the cylinder head, and then it goes over to the right hand side of the cylinder where it connects to the decompressor arm. So what we'll start out with is we're going to take this cable out of its little guide plate, then we're going to move over to the other side and disconnect the cable from the cylinder head. Now over here on the right hand side of the cylinder head, this is where our decompressor cable comes up, goes to a bracket here, and then onto the actual decompressor arm itself. So to remove that cable, just remove the spark plug cap. Then you want to back this screw off. You don't even have to remove it all the way, just back it off enough till it spins over. Then release the cable from the bracket, then just take the cable off of the decompressor arm itself. Nothing to it. Now we're going to remove the recoil starter, but there's a couple of things we need to do first. First thing we need to do is remove the shifter, and we also need to remove the neutral indicator. Now before we pull that shifter off, what I like to do is just take me a Sharpie, put me a line on there. That way we'll have some mark to kind of align that back up and get that shifter in the right orientation. And we'll just take it off. Next, we want to remove the neutral indicator. And to take that off, you just got a little E-clip here on the end. Just very carefully pop that off there. Keep your finger over the end of it though, because the thing will liable to go flying across the shop and you'll never find it. There you go. There's our E-clip. Then you may have to reach in here with a screwdriver and kind of pry on this a little bit. Be kind of careful with it because it is just plastic, so you can split it if you're not careful. There you go, just pry it off a little bit. Then there's our neutral indicator. Now all we have to do is remove the 4 bolts that holds the recoil starter to the engine, and then we'll be able to remove the recoil starter. Alright, there we go. Okay, I've got our recoil starter here on the workbench, so let's disassemble it. Now, first thing I usually like to do is release the spring pressure. Now since I'm going to replace the handle and the rope, I'm just simply going to pull this thing out a little ways, kind of hold it there. Then I'm just going to cut the rope. Then I'm just going to release it. Let that spring kind of unwind itself. Just like that. Now if your spring on your recoil starter is already broken, you're not going to have to worry about that. Okay. Now the next thing we want to remove is this plate here that holds in part of the decompressor components. It's just got 4 Phillips screws. We'll take all those off. Then we'll remove the plate. We'll set it aside. Now what we have is this plastic ring in here. Now, this is what operates our decompressor cable. Now what we need to do here is just kind of very carefully pry it up. You don't want to break it, so just kind of be gentle with it. There you go. Also, you'll kind of note the orientation of this thing. There's a little bit of a slot cut in it right here, and that's where the grommet for the decompressor cable goes. So you always want to remember to line that up with the decompressor cable. Now to help facilitate getting this ring out of here, what you'll also need to do is take the decompressor cable itself and pull it back out of the rubber grommet until it comes out like that. And that'll give you some extra slack to get that ring out of there. There it goes, just like that. Just kind of keep working at it. All right. Then once you get it out of there, then you pull it off, and there's a little arm here that fits in a slot into this decompressor ring. So we'll take our decompressor ring, we'll set it aside. Then you got this little arm right here that hooks onto a little ball on the end of the cable. We'll remove that. We'll set that aside. There's also a little small rubber stop that fits back into this ring, and I'll show you where this goes, so you want to retain that also. Okay, now we've got that out of the way, we can go ahead and pull the decompressor cable completely out. Now you can see here we've got quite a bit of rust and crud inside this rope starter housing, so I want to completely disassemble this so we can clean all this stuff up. Now in order to get this rope pulley out of here, we're going to have to remove the grommet that holds the decompressor cable in place. So you just want to very carefully pry it out and pop it out the front of the body there. There we go, we'll just set that aside. Next we're going to remove the decompressor spring. And all this is just a kind of a coiled up spring here. It's got a little ear on each end of it. We'll set that aside. Next we want to start removing all the hardware so we can get this pulley off here. Everything's held in with this little circlip right here on the very top. So what we'll do, kind of get that started and kind of hold your finger over the end of it, so just in case it tries to fly off there. And just kind of pry it on off. It's got a little spring pressure under it. So that's going to have your E-clip. Then you're going to have a brass washer. Next you're going to have the dog retainer plate. Take that and set that aside. Then you're going to have your 3 engagement dogs, and they got 3 little hair springs that go on there with them. So you want to inspect those and make sure the springs have all the little ears on the ends of them. There's going to be 3 springs and 3 dogs. Just remove those and set them aside. Next you got a little small spring here. Set that aside. Then you're going to have 1 more brass washer here. So now we're to where we can lift this out of here. Now you want to make sure that's disengaged from the recoil spring completely, so that way when you pull it out it doesn't swarm on you. And as you can see, there we go. There's our recoil starter spring down in there. Now this has got a good spring in it, so we're going to retain it, we're going to pull it out of there, clean it, re-lubricate it, and I'm going to show you how to rewind it and put it back in there. Now if we were going to be using a new recoil starter spring, it would come already pre-wound, pre-lubricated, and it would have a safety wire around it. So all you'd have to do is just set it down into the case, cut the wire loose on it, and it's good to go. But this one here, this is a good spring. So we'll clean all this rust and crud out here, we'll clean the spring, re-lubricate it, and I'm going to show you how to safely rewind it so that you can pack it back into that case without hurting yourself. Now when we get ready to get that spring out of there, all you got to do is you got a hook right here on the end. Take your pair of needle nose, get a hold of that hook, squeeze it real good, then you can remove the spring. Now to release it, the safe way to do that is to get you a rag handy. Take that thing, put it in a rag, then release your spring. Then let it kind of slowly uncoil itself. There you go, just like that. Alright. So that's got all of our components disassembled here, so we're going to clean everything up, then I'll show you how to put it all back together.